welcome to another Power BI tutorial. My name is Daniel, and the goal for this video is to understand two main things. First of all, is it possible to perform an MS Excel type VLOOKUP function within Power BI? Well, the short answer is yes, and we use merge queries for that. And the second question we're going to try to answer is that which is better? Is the VLOOKUP function in Excel better, or is merge queries better? And then we're going to try to see why is the one that we've chosen better than the other one. So without any further ado, let's go and check something out. So first of all, what I want to show is the data that I'm using. So I'm using Toronto Stock Exchange daily trading report. So you can get this report in PDF format. I have another video for this. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm web scraping whatever tables I need and putting that into Power BI. So for this example, I'm going to be using this table over here, which is the S&P TSX composite index, which essentially just shows the sector of different companies that the index consists of, or rather the companies that can combine to form this index. There are about 206 companies in this index in 2020. So I'm going to use the same month and day for 2020, 2019, as well as 2018. So let's go and see what we're going to do now. Right, so I have the data over here. This is for 2018, this is for 2019, and this is for 2020. So what I want to do is I have just simply copy paste the data for 2018. I want to do a VLOOKUP function for 2019, the number of index, the market cap, and the same thing for 2020. So let's go and quickly do that and see how the results come out to be. So I'm going to do VLOOKUP here, looking up this guy. The lookup array is this, and I am looking to get the second column, which is this guy first, and I want the exact value. So I can just do this here, and then if I drag it across, I'm just gonna make a few changes, and now I want the third column because I'm looking at market cap, and the third column is market cap, right? So I'm just gonna drag it down, 22357, 22357. So that's correct. So I'm going to repeat the same thing with 2020. Right, so now I have the VLOOKUP complete for all of these four columns here. Now if you look closely, you're going to see that there is an error on the first row over here, and that's because the telecommunication services does not exist in 2019. So if you just take a quick look, yes, telecommunication services does not exist, and then telecommunication services does not exist here either. So that's why we have an error over here. Now let's go in Power BI and see how we can perform the same task over there, and how sort of easy it is to do it. Right, so I'm in Power BI now, and I have the data already loaded over here. So I have 2018, 2019, and 2020. So what I want to do here is that I want to do a VLOOKUP type function where it shows me the 2019 number of index market cap and 2020, and I want all of these to come right here, just like in the Microsoft Excel. So what I need to do is I need to go over here, merge queries. So I'm going to click on merge queries. So now it says that select your table and matching columns to create a merged table. So what I want to do is I want to select one of these columns over here, which I will match with the other table so that it can bring the values in from the other table. So I'm going to match this column, and then I'm going to go here in the drop down and select the next table that I want, or the values that I'm looking for. So I have 2018 over here, as you can see, 2018, because I was here, 2018. So now I want 2019, so I'm going to click on 2019, and I want to match by sector again. So once you do that, you'll see a tick mark over here. It's going to tell you the selection matches 10 of 11 rows from the first table. So then the next step from here is to look at this guy over here. For now, I'm going to select the first one, and which says that all from first matching from second. So this is pretty intuitive, which means that it's going to bring out all the columns from the first table that you selected, and then it's going to bring out the matching columns from the second table. What that means is that all the columns here are going to show up, and if all those columns or some of those columns are in the second table, all of them are going to show up. If there's an extra column here, it won't show up in our merge query. So let me just click here, click OK here, and we're going to see what happens. Right, so what happens here is that it created this column. Now the next step from here is to click on this guy, and basically it's going to give an option to expand this particular column. Right, so what I see here is that sector, number of index, market cap. So this is the column for 2019. What I can do is I do not want sector because sector is already over here. I just want number of index and market cap. And I want to keep this over here, which says use original column as a prefix. So what it's going to do is that whatever table that you've selected, in this case we selected 2019, so it's going to write May 1st 2019 as a prefix for each of these columns. Let me just click OK here, and we're going to see what that means. Right, so as you can see, I have two columns now, number of index and market cap. The prefix is May 1st 2019, May 1st 2019, which is the table that we selected, and this is coming here because of the tick mark that we did. So similar to Microsoft Excel, we have nulls over here, which is again for telecommunication services. So far that's fine. The next step from here is I want to bring in the data for 2020 as well. So again, I'm gonna just click here, merge queries again. So I have 2020 index, 2020 market cap. So again, I have two nulls over here, which is exactly the same as Microsoft Excel, and that is again for telecommunication services. Now, in a way, it is easier to do this VLOOKUP slash merging in Power BI because it takes fewer steps. You don't have to drag the formulas across or down, and you avoid making any mistakes as such. The other thing that you can do within Power BI is basically something that we couldn't do in Excel without additional steps. Let me show you what I mean. So I removed all the steps from here, all the columns that I merged. I'm going to go back in here, merge queries, and I'm going to select merge by sector or lookup by sector from 2018 to 2019. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. The only change I'm going to do here is go down here, and I'm going to select right outer. So if I do that, it's going to give me all from the second and matching from the first. Let's go here and do that first and see what happens. So again, it gives me a tick mark, which is fine. I'm just going to click here, OK. And then I'm going to go here and deselect this and select that. So what we see here is that we don't have nulls anymore, and the telecommunication row is gone. This is because we selected the right outer, which means all from the second and matching from the first. If you remember, we did not have telecommunications here, but we did have it here, right here. So what it did was that it made the second table its base and then matched the first table accordingly. Because there was no telecommunication in the second table, it did not show at all over here. But the other interesting thing is that it shows null. I'm just gonna go here and expand this. Right. So I have 7 and 129.45. So what is that? Because I did not bring in a sector column when I selected the merge queries section, I did not know what this is. Let's go back here and see what that actually is. So for that, I need to click OK, that's fine. And then when I'm expanding, I'm going to select sector. Right. So this is communication services. Because I don't have communication services over here, it's showing null. But the communication services is there in 2019. That's why it's here. Now, a better way to go about this would be if everything showed in this column rather than me having to select the sector column again and again. Let me show you what I mean. So if I go in here, I unselect this. But if I go back in my merge queries where I'm selecting the tables to merge the queries, and if I click on this drop down, and if I look at this selection, which is full outer, which means all rows from both. So it's going to select all the rows from here and all the rows from here. And whatever duplicates are, it's just going to show one sort of row for that. And if there are extra columns, extra rows in here, it's going to show those rows. And if there are extra rows in here, so it's going to show those rows. So I'm going to click on this guy and just click OK. I have it here. So now if you look here, I have telecommunication, which is null because it's not in 2019. But at the same time, I have uh, communication services. So I have both the columns showing up here now. So if I want, I can go here in expanded and I can bring in the sector to see which sector this null is coming for. So similarly, I can pull in for 2010 as well. So to conclude, the merge queries option in Power BI is a very, very powerful tool. We can avoid leaving out data in a way, and then we can perform sort of VLOOKUP or lookup functions fairly quickly without having the need to drag and drop and change the formula and so on and so forth. And at the same time, it's easier for us to grab the data in its entirety, and then we can have more accurate results. So that's it for this tutorial. If this was helpful, please leave a like and comment. Until next time, bye bye.